Hey ladies, hey gentlemen, hello YouTube friends. It's Cindy, Palm Springs Cindy, coming to you from my kitchen, sort of a different angle. I'm trying to get my camera straight because I still don't have my uh, tripod, but I've got. trying to. I'm trying to, I'm trying to set this up. Okay, today the title of this is Mobile Groomers, Miracles, and Friends. And I'm going to talk about all three. And I'm going to try not to move around so much so that my camera stays a little bit more steady. So first of all, mobile groomers. Now, because I have Shelby, my little multi-poo. And she's just the love of my life. She's so precious. She's part Maltese, part poodle. Okay, so she has to be groomed. She has to have her hair cut. And she really needs to be groomed like once a month, but I take her about once every 5 weeks. Well, she was due to be groomed, overdue to be groomed before I broke my leg. So between being overly needing a grooming and then me being out of commission for a while. Anyway, she was pretty bad. So I called groomers. They're booked up. So I found this mobile groomer, not the first one I've used. So anyway, the mobile groomer came this morning 10:30, and she took Shelby into her little van, and she came at 10:30, and she said she would need an hour and a half. And she took longer than that, which is fine. So, okay, the mobile groomers for pets are awesome. I like it that they are, right in front of your doorstep, that it's very easy to communicate along the way. If they have a question about this cut or that look or this or that, they're right there by your doorstep. So I highly recommend mobile groomers. And then also I noticed that Shelby is not, I just got a phone call and had to decline it. So when she comes in from her grooming, she's much more calm and actually quite playful and happy. So mobile groomers are good. At least that's my recommendation. And then I had 3 gal pals come over today. One of my bridge groups. They came over, and before they came over, I received a phone call from the realtor because our house is still on the market. Now, I will backtrack and say we have had an offer, but it was very low, and we counter offered, but they didn't go for it. We have had a few interested parties, but we have not sold it. What the heck am I going to do if I sell this house when I'm in a wheelchair and a cast? Crazy. So anyway, the realtor did call and say, "Can you show your house at 2:30?" And I said, "Yes, as long as you tell the people that I will be here along with my girlfriends, and we're going to be playing bridge. But, they're welcome to come in and look around and all of that, but just know that I'll be here." And he said, "That's fine, no problem." So my girlfriends came over. My girlfriends came over at 1:30. And before they came over, I did text them, and I said, "I'm just planting a seed that when you guys come over, the house is going to be shown at 2:30, and I need help getting the house sort of cleaned up a bit. It was not going to be a star status, but I did need some help, cleaning off some counters and stuff like that." So anyway, they said no problem. So they got here. Well, one of the gals, Patty, hi Patty, she had stopped at one of these gourmet grocery stores, and she brought cheese and popcorn and special crackers and chocolate and all this great stuff. And then the other gals arrived, and they were just so wonderful, because I said, "I hate to say this, but I'm going to kind of give you orders because I know exactly what needs to be done. And and the house is going to be shown at 2:30. So we're like, okay, what do we need to do? So I kind of put him to work and, clean off the counters in my bathroom. I had washed my hair today, and I had, like water spottage on my mirror that needed to be Windexed off. And I needed some dirty clothes, put in the dirty clothes hamper instead of sitting on the bed. I needed the clothes that were recently taken out of the dryer, hung up so they weren't sitting on the bed. And I needed the kitchen. There were lots and lots of fingerprints on my stainless steel dishwasher, refrigerator, trash compactor. So one of the gals got the stainless steel squirt bottle and squirted that, and wiped down. Oh, I think my refrigerator's open, and wiped down my stainless steel appliances so they were shiny and not full of fingerprints. And so anyway, they were miracle workers, and they just were like Mr. Clean, Mrs. Clean, and just whizzed around the house and cleaned everything up. So then the four of us went out in the backyard, my backyard, and sat at one of my patio tables, and we played bridge. We had a lovely afternoon. It was just so nice to be outdoors and sitting in the sun, and anyway, it was wonderful. We had a great time. And then the realtors did come by, and the people, came out on the patio, and we were kind of chit-chatting with them and joking around with them. So, it was fine that the house wasn't perfect. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about miracles, because this is just a great, great story. And it's something that happened to me while I was in the nursing home. So I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to do everything else. When I was a young teacher, when I first moved to Palm Springs, I graduated and earned my credential at San Diego State University. Right out of college, when I was in college, we had to go to college for 5 years to earn our teaching credential. So when I earned my credential, I was recruited and moved to Palm Springs and had a job as a second grade teacher at Rancho Mirage Elementary School. So if any of you are familiar with the area, you know where Rancho Mirage is, and you know the little elementary school in Rancho Mirage. It was only 7 years old when I was hired. So I taught second grade, and I think it was my second year of teaching. I had a student that was a thalidomide baby. Now, for those of you who are my age and a bit older, you will remember thalidomide babies. And for those of you who don't, it was a drug that was given to pregnant women for whatever reason. I don't know that part of it, but it was a drug thought to be, obviously thought to bring about well-being. But what they discovered was it caused very, very serious deformities in babies, in babies. The babies, for the most part, I think, lived with their deformities. So anyway, I think it was my second year, a kind of a prominent family in the desert area. Well, not kind of, they were a prominent family in the desert area, and they had adopted a thalidomide baby, a little boy. And I'll just say his name is, I'm not even going to say, just the little boy. So when he was in my class in second grade, he had, as far as I can remember, but this is pretty certain, he had and I'm not saying this in a making fun of way. This is how it was. He had like flippers, little hand flippers instead of arms. His hands were right here. And I think he had part of one limb. He basically had no limbs. He had like hands, part of a limb. And they put him on a skateboard. And that was his mode of transportation. He couldn't walk. And so that was how he came to school. He came to school on a skateboard, on his stomach, on a skateboard. So he was in my classroom, and this was all new to me, but I figured, I kind of like was gonna just take it a day at a time, and the family was lovely. Well, anyway, during the time he was in my classroom, a couple times he fell. Like, we would be going out, line up, go out to recess, and he would line up on his little skateboard, and then he would go outside, but he would fall off of his skateboard. And so I would rush over to him or walk over to him and position him back on his skateboard in such a way that he could move on. Well, evidently the family realized, his adopted family realized and saw me do this. So they took him out of my classroom because they felt that I coddled him too much, and they wanted him to really do it on his own. And I understand that. And I was also a little bit relieved that they did take him from my classroom, because I didn't know how to approach him in any other way than to help him when he fell, or to help him when he was, in need. So anyway, life went on, yada, yada, years go by, years go by. So I'm in this nursing home last week, 3 days ago. I get a card. Somebody walks into my room and hands me this card, and it says, "Hi," the name was from a teacher friend of mine whose sister it was, who had the thalidomide baby who was in my classroom. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have not seen this teacher friend of mine in so many years. My goodness, is she here? Anyway, I was thrilled, because I thought, oh my gosh, I'd love to see her. Where is she? Well, I asked about her, and do you know where was the person that gave me this card? And does she work for you? Anyway. So a few days after that, the gal that I taught with came in, and she handed me a little flower, and she said her mother was in Manor Care, and that's how she knew I was in Manor Care. She saw my name on the door or something. So I said, oh my gosh, I've been looking for you ever since I got that card. Come in, sit down, let's catch up. My goodness, what have you been doing? Blah, blah, blah. Where are you? Where do you live? How are your kids? All that. Our kids went to school together. So, how are your kids, and how is your daughter? So we just had the best time catching up. So then, of course, I say, how's your sister? By the way, whatever happened to the little boy that was on the skateboard that was in my classroom? And she said, well, she just sat up straight, and she said, oh, are you ready for this? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, as he grew up, he started volunteering for one of these big churches here in our valley. He was a volunteer at the church, and he also was involved with baseball, and I'm going to say, he sounded like he was involved in community activities. And she said, we after something like this isn't the exact, but it's pretty close. She said, and we noticed the families as we would get together, the cousins, my sister, brother, and I, and all our kids. We noticed this man that we would see over and over again at the functions. We saw him at church when this boy was volunteering. Maybe he was an usher or something, I don't know. When it was baseball game time, we saw this man, and he was there. When it was like Chuck E. Cheese time or whatever, we saw this man, and he was there. So he would look at this little boy. So she said, finally, they were like at a Burger King or something like that. And this man came over to the family and to the boy, and he introduced himself, and he said, I am your biological father. And I want to get to know you, I guess. So I'm stepping back, and I think to myself, imagine, here is a man who evidently who obviously had a thalidomide baby, with severe deformities, gave the baby up for adoption. No judgment here. The baby was adopted by a wonderful family, and who obviously gave this boy many good opportunities in life. Well, then it ends up that this man is like a gazillionaire. I think she said a billionaire. And he has this thriving business. I'm going to say Washington or Portland, something like that. And so this young boy this thalidomide boy, I don't like saying that. This boy ended up moving home with his biological dad, getting a great job in one of his dad's companies. He's married. He has fathered 2 children. He married a woman with 3 children, so now he's a father of 5. He is living a good life. So when she told me this story, I thought I was going to fall out of my bed with glee. I just thought, are you kidding me? This is a miracle. It's a miracle that this young man, with all these hindrances in his way, that his life has turned out to be certainly better than probably anyone ever could have predicted when he was born. So I was just delighted when my teacher friend told me this story. So I'm sharing it with you. I told the gals at Bridge today, I said, something came up about this mega church in town. And I said, oh, by the way, I have a fun story about that church. And then it triggered my memory about this young student that I had when he was in my 2nd grade classroom. So anyway, when you think there's no hope, you know what? You just got to give it to the Lord. He is good. And I just am amazed at when things look like, well, he works all things together for good for those who know him and are called according to his purpose. And I just think it's a great life circumstance when it turns out like that. So, okay, you guys, you can hear it in my voice. I'm tired tonight. It's been a busy day between the dog groomer, which turned out to be wonderful, between the realtors that came through the house, between my girlfriends that came over, and then we played bridge in the afternoon on the patio. And not to mention that I washed my hair this morning. That took a lot of energy. So, okay, I just finished dinner. I opened a package of Caesar salad, and I had an already cooked chicken in the refrigerator. So I put like good 3/4 of a chicken breast in with my Caesar salad. So that was my dinner. And then I had snacks with the gals today while we played cards. So anyway, you guys, that's it for me. Oh, I do have this one thing. I have 2 things I want to share with you that are kind of fun. They want me to exercise, and my physical therapist gave me these big rubber bands. So they told me how to use these as resistance for my legs and my arms. And then if you have not had one of these, you have not lived. You see this? I have to get it from the right angle. Okay, it's an arm extender. So like when I can't reach something, I use my arm extender. And let me tell you, I don't know what in the world I would do without this arm extender. It's like the best thing since peanut butter and jelly. So here's to you. My arm extender and I are saying good night. I'm doing well. Like I said, I'm getting tired. I'm going to go get on my couch and probably fall asleep. But so this is Palm Springs Cindy saying, I love you guys. Thank you. I love all your comments. I love when you share with me about a mother-in-law or your husband's or yourself, your experiences in the nursing home, because it's so similar and it's just so validating for me. So I'm just enjoying, I'm reading everything, even if I'm not responding right away, I will. And it's just great to have you guys as company and as friends. So I'm signing off, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.